Hello and welcome to this session. So Babette is known as the decision-making maverick. She's a life, leadership, and business coach, competition and strategy specialist, and author. Welcome to the conference, Babette. Please take a moment
Thank
to
you.
tell us about yourself.
Thank you very much. Well, look, I've had a long career. I spent 30 years as a consultant in the area of strategy and competition. And then after publishing a number of very successful books on analysis, which is used in universities around the world, I then did some post-grad degrees. I became a counselor. Then I decided, no, I want to use my business expertise. So I became a coach, and I'm a certified professional coach, and I coach executives. But my whole focus, my whole career, interestingly enough, has been around decision making. How do we make good decisions? And there are two types of areas that we can make good decisions. One is in an organization for our business. How do we make good decisions in a business? And then the second one is, well, how do we make better personal decisions around the things we want around career, where we want to go? And I will be speaking about the personal decision making next Wednesday. But today I thought we would discuss how do we make good, intelligent decisions in an organization with so much change and competition going around. So I thought we might focus on that area of decision making today. And then Wednesday's session, I'll focus on how we get in our own way of good personal decision making.
Wonderful. So let me introduce the other panelists. So Deb is the CEO of SMB Digital Education, a company that works with subject matter experts, helping them monetize their intellectual property. She works with authors, coaches, consultants, and other experts in their field, building a step-by-step online training course and masterclasses. So Deb is also the chair of our series of EC Global Entrepreneurial Conferences, and of course, my business partner. Deb, please take a moment to say a few words about yourself and how did you become an entrepreneur?
Well, thank you so much. And Babette and Ram, it's great to be with you both this afternoon. And I've been a business owner for 10 years. And prior to that, I spent most of my career in corporate America. So I grew up, working with organizations like Granger and Baxter and Citigroup and R.R. Donnelley, and really spent many, many years building my credentials, working in many different functional areas. So marketing, sales, operations, IT, and strategic planning. And over the course of the years, I grew up also in the leadership ranks. So, so it's kind of a beautiful thing working in corporate America. At the time it was, but about 10 years ago, I had an epiphany. And I was actually encouraged to start my own company by my dad. And my dad was a management consulting company, management consultant, and he had his own company. And so for years, he would talk a lot about his clients, the industries that they were in, the challenges that they were, addressing. And so my dad and I spent a lot of time talking about business. And so he was kind of the impetus for me to ultimately start my own company, which I did. And so, so I started it as a management consulting company. We really focused on marketing and business planning and IT. And then the pandemic hit. And like many other business owners, I had an opportunity to shift and re-engineer my company. And what was happening as a result of the pandemic was there was this dramatic increase in online training and education. Online people were, gathering and meeting online. I couldn't even get on an airplane and go fly to meet clients for consulting assignments. So, we all found ourselves, sitting down in front of our computers. And then I started looking at trends. And so, as someone who pays attention to data and external data points, I recognized that this was an industry. The online education industry was growing and booming, and then you added to that the growing number of entrepreneurs, people kind of hanging their shingle and starting their own businesses. And I thought, okay, here's an opportunity to leverage technology to provide value by harnessing expertise of experts in their field in business, health, and wellness, and helping them monetize their intellectual property so that, like myself, they can find a new revenue stream for themselves because like myself, many of them couldn't get in front of clients. So I've been doing this now for the focus of online training and education for the past 3 years. And then, of course, Ram and I, met each other, and through our work together, there was an opportunity here to really leverage the collective horsepower of online training and education and the media. And so here we are, today at VCAPAX, which is really the culmination of, the focus on online training and education, and bringing this access to education to a global audience of business owners wherever they are in the world.
Wonderful. So I wanted to kind of pose a question to both of you. So I'd like, for the audience to understand, let's draw a little bit of a comparison. So you're both entrepreneurs, right? Very
Yes.
successful, business women, but you actually carry two jobs, right? You take care of the family, you take care of the house and homework and, taking care of the things. So women, notoriously, the burden of the home falls into women. And in addition to that, so there's difference of treatment, gender inequality, access to funding, no equal treatment. So can you guys tell me a little bit about the challenges, so the barriers you encountered when you started, right? So all the entrepreneurs here, a good chunk of them are women, right? So tell us a little bit about the barriers you encountered and how did you go about overcoming them?
Shall I go first, Deb?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Look, I think that the interesting thing is that for women entrepreneurs, and I've been teaching a number of women entrepreneurs, they don't address some of the basics. They think, first of all, it's, look, they're passionate about their product. They're passionate about what they're bringing to the market, but they don't bring the disciplines of finance to their product development. They also have a tendency to not ask enough. So male entrepreneurs will always ask for $1 million. Female entrepreneurs will say, oh, I can do this with 150,000. No, you need to be very, men will always ask for a lot more money, a lot more funding. Women will ask for a lot less. They'll be far more conservative in their approach to getting the funding that's required for their business. And that's the key step. If you don't have proper funding, then there's nothing you can do. You're so busy focused on the home and maintaining everything else that you're not focused on the competition that you have for funding. And I think that's a critical issue that a lot of women miss out on. And that's the amount of, and I've just come from a group, and it's so interesting, last year, of women that weren't asking enough for funding and were struggling greatly in trying to manage everything. So for me, the best advice is all around the funding for women entrepreneurs.
No, it's interesting you say that about that, because actually that is the fundamental reason why Ram and I developed the conferences, because we became very well aware of the lack of funding opportunities for women and minority entrepreneurs. That less than 2% of the venture capital funds that are available are going to women and minorities, and so so that there's an injustice there, right? So
yes.
And then we also recognize that a lot of these women and minority entrepreneurs, they're experts in what they're an expert in. And I use the term, they may be a butcher, a baker, or a candlestick maker, but they may not know what they need to know about finance, about marketing, about sales, about operations, workflow analysis, whatever it happens to be. So that was really the impetus for gathering all these experts in all these different functional areas of business to say, and we refer to this as fundamental education. Our conference is free to attend, open access to all. Why are we doing that? Because of that, because of the injustice, because we recognize that we want to, raise the playing field for women and minorities to have access to opportunities have access to funding, but they have to arm themselves and they have to
Correct.
build their skills so that they're able to have a credible conversation to do the work that needs to be done, right? To put together a plan that is grounded in data and analytics and financial analysis, and so that they're able to ultimately have a seat at the table when they're going to raise capital. So so they have to develop their skills in order to do that effectively.
I agree 100%. And you reminded me, as I said earlier, male entrepreneurs will ask for far more funding than female entrepreneurs. And I think it's one of the simple things that women are far more conservative in how they approach their entrepreneurship and their business. The other thing that I found that's across the board for all entrepreneurs is the belief that there is nothing like their product, that it's unique. And with due respect, that is crap, because there are competitors. And if you do not understand the market in which you are competing and who you're competing against, then why should a venture capitalist put money into your business?
So people don't invest enough calories into understanding the market environment or competitive intelligence, basically.
Yes, absolutely. So every entrepreneur I've come on, oh, there's no one that does like us. And every time I've been able to show all my clients, there are competitors. And, oh, I didn't see them. Oh, I didn't do that. You are competing. And the bottom line of any competition, if I put $100,000 into your business, what is an opportunity that I'm missing where I could put another $100,000 in another business that would give me a better return? You need to have a good argument as to why someone should put $100,000, $500,000, $1 million in your business versus what's going on in the marketplace.
That's I applaud that, and that is so true. It's interesting. One of our sessions today was with a venture capitalist who spoke exactly about that. Spoke about the importance of having your competitive analysis, having it, rock solid, because you can't go into those conversations without it, and you won't be credible. And that people just seem to think that, oh, it's the best, what do they call that, sliced bread. But in reality, you're doing yourselves a real disservice by not doing the hard work. And so I agree with you completely that is a critical piece of information when you're putting together a business plan or a pitch deck. You have to do your your environmental scan, your external view of the world outside of the four walls of your business, and the competitive analysis piece of it is critically important.
So I wanted to add one point here. So Babette, you mentioned, and I quote, so men ask for help. So can you explore a little bit further? So for example, what is the importance of building communities of support around the entrepreneurs?
Look, I think that is vital to not only have, for example, like this conference that you've put together. That is a great community of support. All the speakers, I'm sure, are willing to help any entrepreneurs. They can reach out to the speakers. So, to get expertise in this particular area. Deb, for example, get expertise in the marketing and that whole approach. There are people around you that are always willing to support. So if you wanted to be a women entrepreneur and you want to do something through services like LinkedIn, who can you connect with that might be able to give you some support or assistance? The conference, who are the speakers? Who can you reach out to that might give you some support, some guidance, some mentoring? Is there a women's group in your region or in your country that might have women who have been down this path that you could approach? You need to build it. Sorry, I was just thinking, often when someone is an introvert, you're very reluctant to go and network with a lot of people. But you have a choice, and this is one of the decisions. Do you want to get your business up and running? If you want to do that, then as you said, Rom, you need to get a community of practice. So you need to control your introversion, or maybe you can work with an extrovert who can help you with the community of practice. But you need to be aware of what I said earlier, how we're getting in the way of our own good decision making for the future. Sorry, Deb, you were going to say something.
I love all that. You know, it's interesting that a lot of our attendees at our conferences are, you know, brand new entrepreneurs. Many of them are solopreneurs and they're just getting started. And I reflect back on, you know, when I started 10 years ago, coming from the, you know, hard charging corporate world, I found being an entrepreneur incredibly isolating. And I am an extrovert. And so that was very, very hard for me. And I had to find my people, right?
Yes,
So
the
I had to find my support network. So, you know, reaching out, you know, and because I am an extrovert, so it's easy for me to talk to people. But I know that's not the case with many. And so I was able to connect with some women's associations, business, you know, professional women's associations, you know, volunteer, get involved, and help others as well as being helped. And I found that was very, very helpful as well. So there are a lot of programs out there, a lot of women organizations that want to support each other. And I can't think, and to your point about, you know, all the speakers at our conferences, you know, there are 80 people over the course of 4 days that are willing and able to get in front and share what they know, you know, and that's a beautiful thing about giving back to the community of entrepreneurs, wherever you are on your journey. There are people you can reach out to. And so I encourage everybody so that you don't feel isolated or alone. I know what that feels like. It doesn't feel good. So you've got to find your community.
And I agree. I agree with that. The thing is also, you know, you need to start thinking a little laterally as to where your community would be. So if you're into manufacturing a product, or, you know, and that's what you've uncovered, well, where's the manufacturing association? Can you go in there? Where are the women in that association that you could network with? And like I said, if you're an introvert and you have great difficulty, is there someone in your immediate circle who is an extrovert that you could connect with that could help you move into these associations or think laterally as to how you could connect to people? It's so important.
I'd like to
build
explore
that
this point a little bit. So we used to think that we came a long way. We certainly did. So I want to ask you both about leadership and empowerment. So when we thought, well, you know, the new industries will be different, but when we turn to, you know, VR and new technologies, we still see a situation where, you know, maybe 1 in 10 of CEOs are women. So we go to a new industry, we go to a new technology, but we still face old problems. So how can we overcome the glass ceiling?
I have no idea, Rom. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea because it still exists. If you look at all the women leaders, chiefs, chief enterprise, they're all still fighting the glass ceiling. Look at the few women that are in politics. Look at this, you know, and I remember someone would say that if we let women lead, there'd be less war. Look,
they never heard of Boudica, I guess.
All I can say is I've got no idea how to break that glass ceiling. I wish I did. Deb, do you have any ideas? I mean, it's
you know, I've reached it so many times in my corporate world and, you know, corporate experience. And I understand I know what that looks like. I know what that feels like. And quite frankly, one of the key reasons why I left was because I had, you know, I wanted more. I just wanted more. And so, but with that comes a lot of, you know, other things, right? Comes a lot of fear and the isolation that I spoke about. But one thing that I think is really, really helpful is to not, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe you have the right skills and talents to do this on your own. And if you feel a little wobbly there, then arm yourself with skills and talents because those are the tools that you need to succeed.
I've got to tell you a story. When I started my consulting practice back in 92, in strategy and competition, I have to tell you that, I was up against the big consulting firms and the boys. And I wanted to make a mark. I wanted to be an expert. I wanted to achieve certain things. And like you said, Deb, I just pushed through. I kept working hard. I was very clear on my strategy. I wanted to be an expert. So I knew I needed to speak, I needed to write, I needed to teach. And I focused on that like, nothing could distract me.
You did the
And
work.
I made it.
You
I
did the work.
worked.
And that's
You got it.
actually fundamentally, you have to arm yourself with the tools and talents to be successful, and you have to do the hard
To
work.
do the work.
There's no, easy out here. You have
Correct.
to do that. And so, and believe in your abilities. And with building your skills, you build your confidence. And then,
Yes.
and then you can start to have an impact. And then you're on your way. So,
And that's why a conference like this is powerful, because it helps people become aware of the skills they need and where to go to get them. Without conferences like this one, where do you know what you don't know? You don't. And that's why I think what you and Rom are doing is just, I'm 100% behind you guys.
well, we really, thank you so much for that. It's interesting when we started this, the focus was on business education.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too that it's not just about that, because, we're talking about human beings here, right? So we're
Yes.
talking about business professionals, women, minorities. But we also have to be respectful and mindful that, a lot of these, if we're talking women and minorities, entrepreneurs, it's not just about business, it's about wellness, it's about health. It's about
Yes.
soft skills, and so very quickly it came to us that, we need to expand, the platform to include, not just business, but health and wellness and soft skills and life skills and all the things, because we have, in many cases, very, very young solopreneurs that are attending our conferences. And we want to provide access to all
Yes.
about all these topics. Why? Because I feel our responsibility is to provide access so you can see what's available to you, and that you can pick and choose the sessions that may be of interest to you. And maybe this helps you from a career standpoint, or, it's something I saw yesterday on the news about the increase in the trades and kids not going to college and going into the trade. So they're learning how to be plumbers and electricians, et cetera. But they're going to be business owners one day. So they're going to maybe be a plumber, and they're going to buy their first truck, but then they want to have a fleet of trucks and grow and scale their businesses. So we thought, let's just open this, let's make it free to attend. And because we are mindful of the human being and their total and all their needs, so that we can help raise them up, and so that they can take care of themselves, they can take care of their families. So that was important to us as well.
And I think what you've done is, when people don't know what they don't know, you need to give them a broad brush of what is out there. And I think that's what you said. Yes, they're going into trades, but then when you run a trade, you've got subcontractors, you've got suppliers, you've got your trucks. If you want to grow, you don't know what you don't know if you don't think it through. So, yeah, I agree with you 100% there. Well done. So I was just thinking, what have you found in this conference that surprised you so far?
For me, it's the where people are coming from.
What do you mean by that?
It's for our first conference for VC Latinx, we had people coming from 25 countries. For VC EuropeX, we had people coming from 46 countries. And this conference, over 50 countries. They're coming from everywhere, all over the world. And they want access to the education. And many of them are coming from remote and underdeveloped parts of the world. They really
Yes.
are, where they just don't have access to the education. So to me, that's the greatest surprise, is the numbers and the fact that we've got 34,000 people that have joined our Facebook conference communities. So they want to connect.
Learn.
They want to collaborate. They want to network. They want to engage. And so I have several, Ron can address that as well. But from my standpoint is where people are coming from and the numbers of people who want to be together and that they're looking for opportunities to collaborate and to network and to grow and to be successful. So to me, that's very meaningful for us.
Yeah, you know what I found interesting? Over 30 years, and I'm sure you've done a lot of this as well, I found, I've spoken at a lot of conferences, I've run a lot of workshops, I've taught a lot of people, and I've offered every time, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to be of service. Very, very few people actually reach out.
Take advantage of that.
Yes. Have you found that?
I have actually, and maybe it's intimidating. I don't know, but again, it's one of those things where I feel that if we just provide, an opportunity to see, all these different areas of business represented, that people could maybe find something that is of an interest to them. Could be somebody working in a 9-to-5 job who really has said, this isn't for me. And I really want to own my own business, but I'm really not sure about, what to do or how to do it. But that's why, providing the platforms, the online platforms. So there's some level of anonymity in there, but they still get the value and the benefit of being in there and being part of those conversations. And I think they need to build their comfort level and their confidence. And I think once they do that, then we may see more of the engagement.
And reaching out. Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Interesting, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Now, Rom, are we on the hour or what's happening here?
Yeah, we are over time now. So
I thought so.
we can certainly go for, and you know me, we can certainly go for hours in our talks, but folks,
I know.
That's all the time we had for today. But hey, in 2 days' time, there's another session, and it's gonna be marvelous.
I'm focused on how we get in the way of our own decisions that we need to make for ourselves.
I can't wait for that. Self-sabotage, right?
Yes.
Can't wait. That's on Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
Everybody make sure you look for Babette's session on Wednesday. It'll be great.
Thank you. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you so very much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.